Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe.
Hey, welcome to Half the Battle.
Before we start the long journey that's today's video, I need to address a mistake from last time. When ranking the 1987 figures, I somehow forgot about Big Boa. I really don't know what happened, but to make things complete, I'll just mention he goes into the weird tier.
Well, obviously.
Between the Lord Humongous outfit and the strange helmet, where the hell else could I put him? Anyway, now it's time to rank all G.I. Joe figures from 1988. All 45 of them! That's 5 more than last time.
It just never ends, does it? Well, let's do this.
As always, we're going alphabetically with the Joes and Cobras each on their own list. We start off with Armadillo, the Rolling Thunder driver, and it's not an impressive start, is it? Nothing about the figure really does anything for me. He's boring, so goes into the bland tier. It's extra disappointing after we took a look at Steamroller, a great figure that came with a large vehicle. Next is Tiger Force Bazooka, the second figure of the character. While I like Tiger Force overall, this particular color scheme is one I don't like. It has nothing on the original, and I find it quite ugly, so it goes into the ugly side of the bad tier. This is no comment on the actual football team that wears those colors. Blizzard is fine.
On its own, it's not that great.
A somewhat bland Arctic Joe, but it comes with an excellent set of accessories that makes it worthy of the good tier. Budo is the first difficult one. Samurais are cool, but having somebody dressed up as one on the Joe team is just weird. Now, ninjas we've gotten used to, but samurai? Yeah, the concept is just a little too much out there, so into the weird tier he goes.
Now here's a character that's obviously meant to be an upgrade and replacement of an older one.
Charbroil is basically the new blowtorch. He's the new flamethrower guy, but looks much more futuristic. I kinda wonder why this wasn't just Blowtorch version 2. The outfit is a little weird and bug-like even, but he's cool enough to make it into the good tier.
A color scheme can change everything, sometimes for the worse, sometimes for the better.
And Night Force was certainly for the better. You may recall that I was not kind to the original Crazy Legs figure. Version 2, the Night Force one, however, is a huge improvement and shoots it right into the good tier.
A color scheme can change everything, sometimes for the worst, sometimes for the better. No, I didn't just stutter.
And Tiger Force Duke is certainly worse than the original. I think the main problem is the original is so iconic. A repaint was always gonna have an uphill battle to win people over, and Tiger Force Duke did not win that battle. It's both bad and ugly, so into that tier it goes.
Hey, I did mention I like Tiger Force, and let me prove that.
By putting Dusty version 2 in the good tier. Here it's a nice change and a cool look. Though yeah, I do still prefer the original.
We're back to Night Force.
With Falcon. And I like it, so don't worry, it gets into the good tier. But I did struggle a bit to justify that, just because the first version is so damn good. And this one doesn't compare to it. Still, on its own, it remains a good figure.
And now it's back to Tiger Force.
With Flint. And it's kinda similar to Falcon. Really, I like it, the Tiger Force colors look good and work for the figure, but I do still prefer the original. That won't stop me from adding it to the good tier though. Staying with Tiger Force, we get Frostbite, and this one just baffles me. Why? Why would you take an Arctic guy and put him in jungle camo colors? Was it because they wanted to re-release the Snowcat as a different type of vehicle? Well, then they could have just given it a different driver. Having Frostbite be a part of Tiger Force is just weird, so into that tier it goes.
There's one that's even weirder.
The European exclusive Tiger Force Blizzard that I'm including here because when else am I ever gonna be able to do that? And sure, why don't I make this list even longer? Anyway, he's an honorary guest on this list in the weird tier.
And now a figure that caused a copyright issue with Marvel.
Ghost Rider. Name aside, it's pretty cool and unique looking. Plus he came with a scarf, evoking the image of a World War I fighter pilot. He goes into the good tier. Hardball is an oddball. I mean, this guy comes to work for an elite military unit dressed as a baseball player, like it's a dare or something. Definitely weird tier material. Hit and Run is great, very cool looking, some very nice accessories, and that face camo rocks. Definitely one for the best tier and well deserved. His European exclusive Tiger Force counterpart though, I can't say I like it. I don't like the color scheme, and getting rid of the face camo is just a crime, so he goes into the bad and ugly tier.
God, there was a lot of Tiger Force.
Here's Lifeline, and it's another one where the new color scheme works for the toy. Hell, this is one Tiger Force figure where I think I prefer the look over the original, so into the good tier he goes. Lightfoot was one where it took me quite some time to figure out where to put him. He looks cool and unique, but also pretty weird. And I had to remind myself, just like I remind you guys all the time, that it's called the good but weird tier, so that justifies me putting him in there. Muskrat is almost on the same level as Hit and Run, but not quite. I was considering him for the best tier, but I don't like his accessories much, so that keeps him in the good tier, but in a very high place though.
Now, I'm just gonna come out and say it.
Night Force Outback is one of my favorite G.I. Joe figures. I think he just looks awesome, and I have no problem putting him in the #1 spot of the best tier.
And just because I love to give myself more work, I'll mention another Outback that's exclusive to Europe.
Yes, another Tiger Force one. He also looks cool, but goes into the weird tier because for some baffling reason they turned his hair white.
Speaking of weird,
Night Force colors do improve Psych out, but he's still weird as hell, and so is his European Tiger Force counterpart, so into that tier they go. More Tiger Force with Rakondo, and I'm not really impressed with this color change. The original is much better. I'd almost call it bad, but I'll settle for the bland tier. Also, why wasn't this Wild Bill? They kept Frostbite but not the Dragonfly pilot?
at last, a figure that isn't a repaint.
Repeater! He looks cool as a ranger, and that would put him in the good tier, but the unique accessories that are mounted on his hip boosts him up to the best tier.
Christ, and right back to the repaints.
Tiger Force Roadblock. It's another nothing figure that doesn't hold a candle to the original, so it goes into the bland tier. Honestly, if they had used version 2 instead, it would have gotten a better spot. Wow, a second version, well, third really, of a figure that isn't a repaint? Yeah, Sergeant Slaughter gets a brand new sculpt that looks quite nice, and he's even got a removable head this time, so an easy pick for the good tier. Shockwave is another cool and unique looking figure. He almost makes it into the best tier, but he's let down by some of his accessories. The guns really shouldn't have been blue, and the pistol is too big, which can lead to broken thumbs. I'll still put him in the top spot of the good tier though.
I was tempted to add this next figure to the P part of the list.
As poor Skidmark. Look, the name is bad, okay? Bad enough to have been a running gag on this channel for ages. Add to that the ugly orange ruining the look, I feel justified in putting him in the worst tier.
Poor Skidmark.
Sky Striker was another one where I wasn't sure where I was gonna put him. Reusing the name of the iconic jet is weird. And he looks a little weird too. But after some deliberation, hey, at least it's an original Tiger Force character for once, so I'll put him in the good tier. Sneak Peek, like several others, benefits from the Night Force look, though he's not as nice as some of the others. I'll still put him in the good tier. And I'll do the same with his European Tiger Force twin. Spearhead and Max.
Look, a kitty!
Look at the kitty! Okay, the figure is kinda bland and that chest is way too big, but he can thank his animal companion because that got him into the good tier.
Another new version of a character that isn't a repaint? Don't spoil us, Hasbro!
Yeah, Storm Shadow version 2 was a bold new look for the guy, and he even switched sides. It was a bit of a gamble, but sometimes that sort of thing works, and in this case it definitely did. It worked so well in fact that I'm putting him into the best tier. Super Trooper! I've got 3 words here.
What and the hell?
The Blinding Silver, the obvious Captain America ripoff, it's all too much. Yeah, this mail-in figure is 1988's King of the Weird tier. Tiger Force Tripwire isn't really helped by the new color scheme. It's another one of those figures where I just shrug and move on. Bland tier for me. Tunnel Rat was an excellent and appropriate choice for Night Force, and so, like his first version, he goes into the best tier. I'll also throw in the European Tiger Force version, though that one only gets on the best tier because it's still used ahead based on Larry Hama. Wildcard is, well, difficult to place. I can't call him bland and he's not weird, but I also don't think he's that good. It's like I don't really care about the figure, but I don't have a tier for that, so he kinda defaults into the good tier, I guess. It's the first time there's a figure that I don't really have an opinion on.
That's certainly going to be a problem when I eventually do a proper review of the character. Well, I've got that to look forward to.
Windmill. Well, the name is weird, but the figure itself is just ugly and bad. Yeah, not much to like about this one, so into that tier it goes. And those were all the 1988 G.I. Joe figures ranked, plus some bonus ones from Europe because apparently I hate myself. And Exhibit B to prove that is the fact we're not done yet, because now it's time to rank the bad guys.
I wish I could drink in this mask.
Right, let's get on with it. First is the Astro Viper, and yup, that's a weird looking figure. What's also weird is that last year the Joes got the Defiant, a giant space shuttle, and this is the only thing Cobra came up with to counter it?
Just one figure, really?
So yeah, weird tier. Destro version 2 is another new version of the character with all original parts, and they really knocked it out of the park with this one. He looks cool, regal, and menacing. There's no other place for this figure than the best tier. Ferret, Destro's demon driver, certainly looks unique. I think when Destro founded the Iron Grenadiers, he stipulated that he was the only one allowed to wear a mask that wasn't dorky. Yeah, this looks pretty stupid and puts him in the weird tier.
And I can tell you right now who gets the top spot in that tier.
The Hydro Viper. He's cool, but it doesn't get weirder than this, looking like a sea monster or Cthulhu fanboy. Now we come to Destro's elite trooper, the Iron Grenadier himself. Once again, goofy helmet and mask. He looks like an old-timey firefighter. Still, he's cooler than the Ferret, and so I'll allow him into the good tier. That's also thanks to his accessories. For another figure from Destro's new faction, we have the Nullifier. Okay, this guy looks like he could have been a member of Cobra. Weird tier for sure.
That brings us to the only Dreadnought of 1988.
Road Pig. And we're totally back to the whole Mad Max thing they had going on in '86. This guy is a brute with a nice set of accessories. Good tier, no ifs or buts. Secto Viper came with one of the weirdest vehicles in the entire line, the Bug. But the figure itself is pretty normal and cool looking. His accessories can be a pain in the ass to find on the secondary market, but not enough to get their own place on the list. Secto Viper fits into the good tier. The Star Viper was yet another difficult one. I think he's kinda boring looking, but I don't think he belongs in the bland tier. He may be a little weird, but still looks pretty average for Cobra. I'll grant him permission to enter the good tier, but just barely. Now, the Toxo Viper is ugly.
But he's meant to be ugly, right?
He's supposed to be a hostile environment polluter, and the job within Cobra is supposed to be punishment. That's no excuse though. He's ugly tier material. The helmet that makes him look like he's sad doesn't help.
And finally, at long last, we're at the end.
The very last figure is Voltar, Destro's general. This guy looks like a steampunk pirate, and he comes with a vulture. It's so ridiculous it bends back to being awesome. So he gets a high spot on the good but weird tier.
And that was it.
All 45 1988 figures ranked, plus some bonus ones from Europe.
We made it!
And it looks like things are leveling off as 1989 has about the same amount of figures. I think it's fair to say 88 was less weird than 87, though with still some outrageous stuff. It was a better year for sure.
Now go agree with me about Skidmark in the comments below. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?
G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there.